Hey guys, sorry, I'm taking care of a few things before we go. Before we get on topic, which is going to be very shortly. So, Kat's going to be here in just a minute. I suspect that she suspects that I'm going to be late. It's a fair assumption. Chris, how are you? Kat, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Kat, congratulations on 900 plus subscribers.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And I might add, it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Um, I was saying that I suspect that you suspected that I would be late, which is a fair assumption to make. Um,
Hi, Chris.
Chris and I talked a bit about A Course in Miracles this afternoon. I don't know if you were there when we talked about that, and um, I had mentioned she's sort of on a hiatus from the course. Not a hiatus, but sometimes you just got to put the book aside.
Yes,
And as she said, sometimes life gets in the way.
right.
But every little bit counts. Every little immersion uh, adds up, and you carry it with you in your heart. And I see Chris doing that so easily and naturally whenever I have any interaction with her, be it my channel or her channel or someone else's.
Right. Yeah.
So you found that to be the case with yourself as well. That
Sure.
sometimes you're just not. Um, sometimes you're just not feeling coursey today, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And as you discussed the other day, sometimes the illusion drags you in pretty deep.
Yeah. Hi, Salma.
Hi, Selma. Selma, I hope you're feeling better. Kat says or Chris says you're both amazing. Well,
We're
one of
just a
us.
mirror.
This is true. This is true. When you picked up the course, let me preface this that Kat and I are gonna wing it. We don't have a set topic, so wherever we go is wherever we go. And if there's any questions, we're always happy to um, address them. If not, answer. So when you picked up the course, did you know this was it? This was your path?
No.
How soon? Hey, Brantley, how soon did you know? Or
I
how
think
late did you
now.
know?
I think now.
Was there a spark, a little impetus? Am I saying that right?
Yes, you did. And I don't know. Maybe a bunch of little ones where it just made sense. It all fit into place.
Um, Weird. Before I even picked it up, when I read about it, I knew it was for me, and I still hesitated to buy it.
Hmm.
For one, it was expensive, and I'd rather get a drink, uh, which tells you where I was at that point in my
Right.
life. Um, and then when I did buy it, I didn't dive into it right away. I might have leafed through it and thought, "Wow, what am I getting into?" and put it aside. And then I would pull it out and I would attempt, and it still didn't stick. But all the while, I knew it was for me.
Yeah. Lee from Magnetic North Adventures has been saying sometimes he doesn't understand some of the lessons. And I told him that it's okay. I didn't understand anything the first year. And it's just now that things are starting to fall into place. And, I learned these lessons through experiences.
Right. And um, you and I, we've talked about this a bit before. The course is holographic, that you don't need to understand everything. You understand the bit that you're supposed to understand. And to me, it seems that one line can sometimes sum up the entire course.
Mm.
And I don't know if you really, really get it. Like today, I just read Meaning of Miracles, Principles of Miracles, number 3. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. If you get that, you get the whole course.
Yeah.
As well as the introduction. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. Because you can always refer to that. You can always come back to that. Am I feeling threatened? Does this threaten my sense of self-worth? Does it threaten my sense of love? Does it threaten a relationship that I might be in, or anything that feels threatened? I have to ask myself, then, is it real?
Mm,
And someone might say, well, of course the relationship is real, but what is it based upon? If it's based upon specialness, a special relationship, which is ever changing and can easily be assigned and reassigned. I
right.
love you because, then it's not real. It's not a real relationship, because a real relationship is a holy relationship, which can't be threatened.
Well, thank you for saying all that because lately in my life, the ego has really been playing up and I recognize it. But there's really nothing I feel like I can do to stop it. So, what you sent me today about the fly, one of the things that I know, but it was just a reminder that the Holy Spirit is there to help. And all you have to do is ask, even in the little things. And, I just was like, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't like how I feel about this. Please help me.
And
Well, it's early. I'm here, so that's a good
right,
sign.
sometimes I find immediate relief,
Mm,
and sometimes I find just a sense of comfort of it's going to be okay,
right.
and that can be enough. I
I
think
wanted go ahead.
yeah, nope, you go ahead.
You had mentioned you were talking about meditation the other day and talking about 15 minutes and 30 minutes. And I just want to say to anybody that's trying to start, 1 minute, try just 1 minute. I mean, it's practice and just observe what happens. You're going to see that your mind is racing. It's like, oh, I got to go do dishes. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that, whatever it is. Or I'm thinking about this thing or this situation. It's just practice um, stopping that and recognizing that. And the Course in Miracles is good because it leads you slowly into meditation by giving you something to focus on.
True, true. Um, and I find so much in the course can become an instant meditation because it gives you that sacred pause. If
Yeah,
I say I can choose peace instead of this, I immediately pause and I think, do I want to choose peace?
yeah,
Obviously, I don't, because I'm still entertaining everything that isn't peace,
right,
knowing better, and not even liking what I'm experiencing,
right.
but uh, not remembering to pause. So that pause of I can choose peace instead of this, and I gives me all those things to consider. And as you and I have talked about before, that meditation isn't the absence of thought. Meditation is becoming aware of the thoughts
Right.
and knowing that you are at the space of the thoughts. Hey, Danny.
Hi,
Hey, Toolbox.
Abigail. I did catch Abigail today. Thank you. That was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, every once in a while, and actually, it felt like every live stream today, uh, gifted with those little wonderful moments
Mm,
that, um, you know, it's almost like you have no choice but to cry a little bit because it's so overwhelming.
yeah.
Uh, Again, guys, if you have questions, and it doesn't have to be specific to the course, but something that you want addressed through maybe the perspective of the course, and we can do our best to um, offer something.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, Michael, here's a question I'm often asked: why the course and not Buddhism? Yeah. Why do you practice the course and not the Tao or Buddhism? Or how come you're not just a yogi cat doing something in there? Do you even have a basement?
I do have a basement.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm fixing to move down into it. But
I heard you mention that. Is that
yeah.
because it's cooler or
No, it's because it needs to be worked on. Unless I'm living in it, I won't be able to work on it.
right?
So it
You and I
still has
are
to be an apartment downstairs.
right. You and I are very different about that. Ob- ob- Obviously, cobwebs aside.
That's what got me started, this cobwebs, and then you just added to it. So thank you very much.
That's the least I can do. It's the only reason I have him here. I have him here as demonstrative reasons.
Mhm.
I'm demonstrating.
Yeah.
You know,
Um, so I don't know. A Course in Miracles is what came across my awareness, and that's what stuck.
because you'd make a very good Wiccan.
Yeah,
You
not
have
this
a
lifetime.
you have a very magical quality though,
Oh, thank you.
and I do want to say that they don't have to be mutually exclusive. You
Mm,
could practice Wicca and be a student of the Course in Miracles. You could be a Buddhist. You could be a traditional Christian. You could be Jewish. Um, as a matter of fact, um, Kenneth Wapnick, the main editor of the course, was Jewish who went to live in a monastery in Israel to become a Jesuit monk. When he was given clear sign that this wasn't what he was supposed to do, that the answer he was looking for was back in New York City, and he should go back. And he thought, well, I'll go back. Just he had some things to clear up anyway, and he stumbled upon uh, some lecture, I believe, and it was an early presentation of a course. Not even in like a group; it was like a private, and he was invited to it.
wow.
So you could be. You don't need to give anything up to practice a course. You just there is a prerequisite, I believe, and it is a deep wish to be happy, truly
Mm,
so, unconditionally so, to give up suffering, which coincidentally is the same prerequisite for Buddhism and yoga. All of these are paths that lead us out of suffering. Danny had a, that's okay, Danny, or Carl had a question about meditation.
go back.
Uh,
What was the question?
Carl said, I'm going to hit it real quick.
Hi, squirrel.
Hey, squirrel. The question is, so basically, what is meditation? Just sitting and thinking.
No, you go.
Well,
You're
let's
the
both go.
teacher.
Uh, I do teach meditation, specifically, but not exclusively, primordial style meditation. I had the great pleasure of presenting meditation to Kat. Um,
Thank you.
can you? So I want this to be you and I. What was your preconceived notions about meditation before you and I talked, or did you have any?
And I don't know that well, back in the day, back in the church day, it was opening yourself up to the devil or to
Uh,
entities that were unwanted. So you did not meditate.
right now, to clarify, that has not happened yet, has it?
No, I hope not.
Okay, all right. But keep an eye out. If you see
Yeah,
any
yeah.
heads spinning, um, And uh, so were you surprised when you and I talked meditation?
Yeah,
Probably the most important question though. Did you find your teacher charming in any sense?
absolutely.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, he was the best.
I appreciate that. By the way, I do teach meditation absolutely for free, uh, because that's how important it is, I believe, especially in troublesome time.
And the primordial sound meditation, it kind of satisfies your need to be special because it's your special mantra. That's what I was like excited about. This is all mine, only mine.
And it is nice.
Yeah.
And it's very, very specific to when you came from the infinite to the finite, from the unmanifest to the manifest, from the formlessness to form. And it takes you back to that. So, to answer the question specifically from Carl, that sitting and thinking is sitting and thinking. Nothing the matter with sitting and thinking, but it's not meditation. Meditation is transcending thought by being aware of thoughts. You're not
Mhm.
battling them, you're not fighting them. What I love about primordial sound meditation, it satisfied my laziness.
Mhm.
I'm not concentrating. I'm not. If the more effort I put in, the less I get out of it.
Right.
Um, I can have thoughts. I just return to the mantra. You return to the mantra. Four things can happen when you meditate. You can be thinking the mantra. You could be having your regular everyday thoughts. You could fall asleep, or you can slip into the gap. And the gap is the ever present space that is between every single word and every single thought. In actuality, there's no gap because everything is silent, pure, primordial. And then you have a thought and it floats through that primordial openness. When we have
Hi,
a thought,
Isabella.
hey, Isabella, when we have a thought and then a mantra, and then we have thoughts, 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 and then the mantra, somewhere along the way, we slip into the gap. And we might stay there for an instant, we might stay there for 20 minutes. The thing is, we don't know because when you're in the gap, it's the absence of experience itself. All you know is something happened. I wasn't quite there. I wasn't thinking. There was no thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have a thought, and then you just go back to the mantra.
Hi, Lee.
Hey, Lee. Lee, how are you? Be careful, Danny. Yeah, we're getting storms here too. Have you found that meditation has been helpful for your practice of the course?
I just assume.
Um, for me, it's been sorry about the migraine, Lee.
Oh,
For me, it has been um, they seem to go hand in hand. The quieter my mind, the easier it is for me to choose the Holy Spirit. And hey, um, could you sort of talk about choosing the Holy Spirit? What have
use
you what have you what have you chosen the Holy Spirit? Like for what purpose? For what reasons? For um, how does it fit into your life?
I think I'm just starting to see the Holy Spirit as the best friend that's always there that I don't pay attention to.
I like that.
And and you know that I'm telling you that the article you sent me today just really hit differently. So thank you.
Sure. You know why I sent it to you, right?
Well, yeah. I was waiting to hear him say he heard something from the flies, but I didn't I didn't get that.
Me too. Hey, Cece. Cece says religion equals old world politics. I wouldn't argue that. Um, I'll be honest with you. I'm less inclined to argue anything these days.
Yeah. Why bother?
Exactly. And because someone's always gonna, I'm not gonna argue anyone out of anything. And why would I want to? That
Right.
I don't even want to argue to someone that Course in Miracles is what you should be doing. If you want to do it, that's fine. What I'd like to do is demonstrate my life as an advocate for what I practice. And then if someone says, um, hey, you seem awful forgiving. Hey, you seem awful gentle. You seem awful whatever. Um, then I can say, well, you know, practice Course in Miracles. Forgiveness is my path. Kindness is my path. I practice yoga and meditation, and then I can offer that if they're interested. But I don't want people to think because we talk about it quite a bit outside of YouTube. I'd rather demonstrate than to talk,
Right.
and
Um,
it's
Chris had a question.
okay.
Sorry for cutting you off.
That's okay. You you know how to do it. So far, although it's gonna happen sooner or later. Sooner or later, I'm gonna hear you say hush. We know it's gonna happen,
Mhm.
and I'm okay with it. Here's the question. Let me put it. Question, Kat and Yogi. When did you start reading Course in Miracles? Was it a daily read when you decided to read it?
Do you want to go first?
Nope. I want you to go first.
I didn't have the book at first, so I was just following along through videos on YouTube. But then I would get stuck. I would get stuck on a lesson and I wanted to keep up with the daily, but it just came to a point where if I had to sit with the lesson for a week, then that's what I had to do, just until I felt led to move on. I mean, there would be a
Right.
point where I'd be on it forever and I'd just be like, okay, it's just time to move on.
Hey,
So,
and before I dive in,
yeah,
uh, what are your favorite videos to watch? What are your favorite people on YouTube that have been very helpful for you?
David Hoffmeister and I don't know the name of their channel, but it's Nook Sanchez and I think
No,
Corrine Watson.
right.
Yeah.
Look, Sanchez, I came late to the game um, to her, but I very much enjoy, and I have her book on my bedstand, um, Holy Relationships, and I've been diving into that. So for me, with that question, uh, it took me a while.
Mm.
I've read more books about the course in the first decade that I had it than I did um, read the course, and that proved to be helpful. But it didn't give me a practice. It gave me a lot of information, and again, it was helpful that when I started to practice it, I had a sort of an innate and intuitive sense of, okay, this is what Marianne Williamson said about this particular lesson, or hey, I remember reading Wayne Dyer talk about this, or something along those lines. So that proved helpful, but in the end, it was still a substitute for the course itself. Um, and then I had a lot of false starts, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, and even though, and I wandered other paths, but I always came back because I knew. And I told this story of the guy in the bookstore that him and I would go to meetings at the Self Realization Fellowship, and he asked me, "So, what's it going to take? How are we going to get enlightened? What's the path? Is it Buddhism? Is it, we were studying the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda?" And I said, without hesitation, for me, it's A Course in Miracles.
Mm.
And that sort of set off that even if I put it aside, it was still almost daily. That it still took another 8 years before I committed, so I'm going to go all the way through, and then I haven't let it down since. Sniper says, Eric, how often would you say one should try solitude? Um, Man, that's a good question. Sniper, I think it's going to be an intuitive thing. I would do it when I quit drinking. Um, it was quite a bit because I spent a very crowded decade uh, in bars, outer and inner. I was very loud. It reminds me of Pascal's "All a man's misery stems from his inability to sit alone in a room."
Mm.
We never ever befriend ourselves, but as a whole, um, one of my great books of wisdom, a yogic and Vedic path, is Deepak Chopra's Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, and he recommends having at least a minimum, like an hour of pure silence a week. You just don't interact. You don't read. You don't write. You don't go on the internet. And then once a month, try for an entire day, 24 hours, um, if not an entire weekend. Something very, very profound happens. We're thinking machines, but there's a natural underlying silence, and we're joined in that silence. Herman Melville said, "Silence is the only voice of God." And when we stop being busy, our thoughts go crazy. You probably had that experience uh, meditating.
Mhm.
That you sit, all right, I'm going to meditate, and you're like, what the heck? Why are all these thoughts coming out? This is my meditation time. But that's a sure sign that meditation is working because you're aware of your thoughts.
Right.
So as you do that committed solitary time, you become very acutely aware of your thoughts. But then they start to settle down, and then you get a very, very profound silence.
Toy Pops had a question. You're gonna have to go up a bit. She had two questions, I think.
Let's see.
That's great, Grad Outdoors Adventures. A meditation does not have to be sitting in silence. It can be an outdoors meditation if that's what works for you.
I've done Buddhist retreats where for hours and hours on end, we alternate sitting meditation and walking meditation.
Mm.
And walking meditation is very profound. You have two questions. What are the benefits of meditation? Kat, what have been the benefits of meditation for you?
Just peace, more inner peace, and the recognition of my thoughts for sure. That's been a big one the past year.
Um, hey, Deepak Chopra, this is something that hooked me with primordial sound meditation as well as transcendental meditation. The becoming very aware of the meaning of the synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences, and being able to follow them to like the lesson that we need. Have you noticed more synchronicities happening in your life since you meditated?
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely feel more connected.
right.
Yeah.
And your first answer, that alone is enough. Peace. A little bit
Mm.
of peace. It's a vacation. It's a mind vacation. Um, for me, again, peace. I'm going to say a word that is meaningful for me. It has different connotations with, of course. My life became magical when I started to meditate. Even in the messiness, things started happening that habits dropped away, that it no longer served me. Without me standing up on a soapbox and saying, "I'm never going to do this again." Um, those meaningful coincidences would lead to something really big. I've told the story. I won't again. How I quit drinking was a complete coincidence that an off-duty state trooper with takeout food, who almost considered, well, he's awful, he's pulling down a side road. Um, But instead, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Everything lined up. And in that moment, I knew I was done drinking. I don't believe that would have happened if I hadn't been meditating.
Mm.
That my first book was literally given to me. That writing became effortless. I never have to think, what am I going to write? I just have to sit and allow the words to come. That relationships that no longer serve me would end and new ones would come into place. So, magic, having a magical life.
Yeah. Toy Pups wants to know how would somebody who's never meditated start? I don't know if there was more to that question or not.
Right. The one you said she had two right there, she said, how long should I begin to meditate? Um, I don't have a set answer. When I was taught to be a teacher, 30 minutes twice a day. Um, when I first learned from the book Egnath Warren Meditation, um, once a day, 30 minutes. I think everyone has a different answer. And for me, what's comfortable for you? Can you sit for 5 minutes twice a day? You'll get a lot of benefit from it. 10 minutes twice a day, even better. 15, better. I don't think most people need to meditate more than 20 minutes twice a day.
Hmm.
And if you can't do it twice a day, once a day. The answer is, how long should a beginner meditate? A beginner should meditate. And I'll leave it at that.
Carl says 30 minutes is a lot. It is overwhelming when you first start to try to go for 30 minutes. That's why I said, even if you can just do a minute and then bump that up, as you go along.
Right.
Just get into the practice of it, of stopping. Just stop everything.
Michael made his own meditation area um, last winter, early spring. It was pretty awesome how he described it.
Toy Pup says we can do 5 minutes at a time because we get very antsy and distracted easily. And I think if you practice that and you can get 5 minutes, that's great. But then you'll start seeing benefits and you'll want to do more.
Right. As well, the antsiness and the what was the other part?
And distracted easily.
Right. Antsiness
Squirrel.
and distraction are actually part of meditation. They're not the opposite. That what you want to do, can you learn to sit with antsiness? Can you learn to sit with distraction? And simply and easily come back to the mantra 1,000 times. If you only came back to the mantra once in a 20-minute meditation session, it would be a complete success. Remember, only 4 things can happen when you meditate. If any of those 4 things happen, it's a success. So if you're having thoughts, hey, Reinhardt, if you're having thoughts and you come back to the mantra, you're meditating. Great questions.
Feel better, Lee.
Yeah, Lee. I hope you feel better in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sal.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if anyone wants to learn, primordial sound meditation is a ancient yogic Vedic meditation practice. It comes from the same yogic school as transcendental meditation. That fraction of the cost, and for you guys, it doesn't cost anything at all.
I think if you want to start meditating, I think the primordial sound meditation is great because it gives you a mantra to focus on. So I think it makes it easier to notice when the thoughts are coming along and, oh, I'm no longer doing the mantra. Let's go back.
Right. And you know what? You described it so simply, exactly how it is. That's exactly how you meditate. And you can even do that. Oh, crap. I forgot all about the mantra.
Right.
And it's 19 minutes and 59 seconds into my 20-minute meditation session. And you go really quick and you see a mantra and you go, yes, I got it in just in time. Guess becoming aware of your thoughts. Lee, thank you so much. We got a super chat from Lee. Says thank you for it. Thank you. Love you all. Love you too, Lee. Yeah, just becoming aware of your thoughts is enough.
Toy Pup says, I like to ohm when I meditate. It's the only way I can concentrate. Same idea with the primordial sound meditation, except for that. That sound is yours exclusively.
Right. As well, you don't want to become fixated. And that's what I love about mantra meditation is it's not a forced concentration where I have to just keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over again. You think it gently with no rhythm, no cadence, no volume. You just think it. And for me, mantra meditation is the ultimate practice of forgiveness.
Hmm.
Forgiving myself for being distracted. I'm forgiving myself for putting too much effort in. I'm forgiving myself for trying to concentrate too hard. I'm forgiving myself for whatever, and I simply come back to um, the sound of my own beingness. So we can do. I can teach everyone to meditate right now using what's called a universal mantra, which isn't a personal. I have to do the personal mantra privately. There's a little ceremony. Can't remember is I put on a special outfit. I had my yogi. I had my yogi cap on. I had a special dance that I did. She stood. I danced a circle around her. It was a lot of. It was a lot of fun. You remember that, Kat?
I do remember. Just like that, too.
It was just like that. And so yeah, I would do that. And there is a little ceremony. I repeat something. Hey, Cheyenne. It's a little uh, basically a prayer initiation into an ancient tradition. But and it is private. You don't share your mantra, not because it's bad too, but as Kat was saying, it's personal. It's yours. You treasure it. It's not something that you want to throw around casually.
Carl says,
Yes.
someone told me a few years ago that meditation is more relaxing than smoking weed or drinking alcohol. What do you think, Yogi?
Yes. I try to do all of that at once. Um, I I would meditate back in the day, smoking weed. I would meditate when drinking. I would meditate with a hangover. And what I found was, and I mentioned what Adolf Huxley said in Doors of Perception, that weed and other plant medicine can be a great introduction to um, a different stage of consciousness. But it's the same stage of consciousness, and you never get beyond it. It's the same doorway. Eventually, you get tired of going through that same doorway and experiencing the same stuff. You want something deep, and more importantly, you want something that you are going to carry with you through the rest of your days, 24/7, that makes you more effective, kinder, more forgiving, easygoing, less apt to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, to let the little things go. No longer find yourself getting enmeshed and embroiled in petty squabbles and arguments, or at least not for long. And the more you meditate, the less inclined you are to step into that. And here I'm going to say that meditation and practicing the course go hand in hand.
Right, because the lessons give you little things to use. They're not mantras, but they're ideas that you use, kind of like a mantra. And it kind of introduces you to meditation, and it gives you certain times during the day to do it.
Yep. And I think so many people would benefit because, like today, the lesson that I did in the video, lesson 21, I am determined to see things differently. And you say that, I believe, what, 5 times a day? And, or actually, some of them you do every half hour.
Yeah, it
Um,
gets intense.
It does. But it also gives you 30-minute meditation breaks throughout the day.
Mm,
The course is no joke. It's mind training. And you have to be committed that I am determined to see things different because the way I see things now isn't not just working for me. It's not working for the world. Um, let's see. So Chris says that would be great. Can I reteach you meditation? Yep.
yeah, sure.
All right. And we're going to use a universal mantra, and I will let you use that. Although um, let's see, I think I did this with toy pups once. So, yeah, welcome to primordial sound meditation.
Great, thanks.
And this is a profound practice of peacefulness. And it requires no concentration, no effort. As a matter of fact, the more effort you put into it, the farther away you go from uh, the meditation that we'll be practicing. We think the mantra in a very, very easy manner, just a gentle thought. There's no rhythm, there is no cadence. You think it softly and you let it go. And you think it softly and you let it go. If you could close your eyes, and Kat, your primordial sound is Ram. Ram has no meaning. It's a vibration. Ram. Can you repeat it, please? A couple times.
Ram, 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 Ram,
Okay, relax. And now, if you could say it a little softer, please.
Ram, 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 Ram,
Good.
Ram.
Now, if you could whisper it. Awesome. Now, if you could think it to yourself, no cadence, no rhythm, without moving your lips. And Kat, if you could let go of the mantra and open your eyes, please. How was that? Did you feel some settling down?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. Now, if you could close your eyes again and return back to the mantra, just for about a minute, making no effort. Just recognize any thought and go back to the mantra. Thoughts will happen. And Kat, if you could release the mantra again and just sit with your eyes closed, let everything settle. There's 4 intentions that we enter: joyful, energetic body, loving, compassionate heart, alert, relaxed mind, lightness of being. These are called sankalpas, intents. We enter them into the universe itself, letting the universe, letting God, letting love work out the details. And Kat, when you're ready, open your eyes. You are now practicing primordial sound meditation.
That was good.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Now, if you want to supercharge, and Kat, I haven't even covered this with you before, you can practice some breath work before you meditate, and you will literally supercharge your meditation. I recommend either the 4-4 breath or the 4-8 breath. You don't have to do full 10 rounds. You can do 4 rounds, 5 rounds. It slows down your heart rate, slows down your thoughts, and then when you sit and you enter your primordial sound, it's like you're slipping into an old sweater that you're had forever, and it just feels comfortable. It puts you right where you need to be. Chris says that was relaxing. So Ram is a universal mantra. Some people use Ram, some say Ram. There's others, of course, but everyone has a primordial sound based upon when you were born, where you were born, and the date you were born. And that has been derived through Vedic astrology. Very mathematical, that I do on a computer. That I don't do anything. I go to my teacher's site, and there's Vedic astrologers, and they do all of that. I just teach the meditation. So if anyone would like their own primordial sound meditation or primordial sound mantra, let me know. That's how you do meditation. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I felt it was almost a shame that I'm supposed to charge people $500. And I have in the past, and people have, good night, Carl, and people have paid. But I did come on YouTube to teach meditation and breath work. I also decided that it was too valuable at this time to charge people. That I wanted to present myself as a, hey, Mike and Venus, welcome back. I wanted to present myself as a wandering monk. Except I would always be here. People would wander to me, which makes things definitely easier. And they could wander in, and I would offer breath work and meditation and teachings from a course, and they could wander back out.
Planting seeds.
What's that?
Planting seeds.
Planting seeds, exactly. Little did I know that a fellow seed planter would wander in and decide to hang out with me, for which I am extremely grateful for. And I couldn't ask for a better one.
I did ask for you, by the way.
Did you?
I did. I put it out in the universe a few months ago.
Was it what you expected? Was your supposed to be taller?
No. I was open. I was all, whatever.
Okay. Good to hear. I don't want you to have to go back to manifesting school 101. I was so close. I almost had it. Hey, meditation and manifesting go hand in hand. That I did the 4 intentions with Kat afterwards, but you can write something down of which you would like to manifest in your life, and you could read it before you meditate and put it aside. And when you step into the gap, you're planting the seed in the infinite potentiality of the universe. Or you could do it right after you meditate. It's the same thing. You're planting the seed, and you're allowing the universe to do the details. It's
You mentioned
effortless.
something like that about thoughts that you put in before you go to sleep. Did I hear you saying something like that at one time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very careful what I do before bed. I used to doom scroll,
Mm,
check the news one more time, uh, or check social media one more time, or check my messages one more time. And those were the seeds that I was planting in my consciousness before sleep. When you slip into in yoga, there's four stages of consciousness. There's waking consciousness, there's dreaming consciousness, there's deep sleep consciousness, uh, in which the body dips into, or the mind dips back into soul consciousness itself, where we are rested and rejuvenated. In our dream state, we are acting out karma through the day. So we're not really, it's valuable, but it's not restful, which is why if you have a dreamful sleep, sometimes you wake up just as tired as when you went to
right.
bed. Um, it's that deep sleep that we want to get to. And then we have, it's called Turiya, the fourth state, which is samadhi, bliss consciousness, um, transcendental consciousness. And that's we enter when we meditate. Um, so when we meditate, we want to be careful what seeds we plant in before. You don't want to spend a lot of time online right before you meditate, if you can help it. Um, the same with sleep. So I started doing contemplative reading before bed, where it could be A Course in Miracles, it could be Bhagavad Gita, um, something in Buddhism. If you're inclined, it could be the Bible. But you want something that is boring because you don't want a page turner because you'll want to keep turning the page. You want something that is familiar and something that is holy and sacred for you. And just read however much you want before you go to bed. You're planting those seeds into your subconscious when you slip into that third state of consciousness. And when you wake up, you begin to live out, to blossom the seeds that you planted.
Adam had a question about A Course in Miracles and pain.
Um, what kind
I
of,
mean,
go ahead.
no, the percolated fish.
Right. Um, could you be a little specific about it? Are you talking about possibly transcending pain?
He said he has
Or
whiplash and wants to know about the spiritual implications of that or what A Course in Miracles says on pain.
I love the practicality of a course. Um, if you're experiencing pain, uh, the course would call it magic. And there's nothing wrong with using magic. The magic could be going to the doctors. It could be taking medicine. It could be taking painkillers if you need it. You do what's necessary to feel better. You're not asked to suffer for the sake of the Holy Spirit or Jesus or the course itself. Do what you need to do to feel better, but know that you're using magic. Know that you are not the body, and that the body is your really not even your temporary home. It's an appearance within the illusion that you're using to navigate the illusion. Um, and that pain, although it has a very real effect in the illusion, ultimately doesn't have any meaning outside of the illusion. What do you think?
I think in quantum healing hypnosis, they talk about pain as being a message. And instead of using the word, the medical name for whatever the issue is, use the feelings that it's causing for you, and then look at where the message could be. Like a head-on collision means stop, stop whatever you're doing. I mean, that's some drastic things that are happening to make you stop whatever direction you're going. And the whiplash, I think you can intuitively probably, Adam, figure that one out.
Sorry. I was hoping that you would address it from a quantum healing perspective. So thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Evan says, Eric, I didn't know you were such a professional YouTuber. Cat makes me look professional. Um, it does help to have someone sit with you and talk, and trading things back and forth, different perspectives with the same objective. I I wanted to read Chris's comment. The
Mhm.
question: when do you turn off social media before sleep? 1 to 2 hours or more, or less? Questions about Yogi and Kat. For a better sleep, do you do anything? I have a pretty deep sleep hygiene practice that begins when I wake up in the morning. Um, and I want at least an hour before I'm actually going to go to sleep and any kind of social media and any kind of blue screen for that matter. Um, Kat,
You know I don't have issues with sleep, but I do
um,
try to if I'm falling asleep with the TV, I do try to set the timer because I do think it's important. I know I should space it out a little bit more, but, at least shut it off at a certain point.
right. By the way, I do want to mention if you guys heard me talk about my nap guru, it's Kat who has uh, convinced me on the value of naps. So if you don't see me live streaming for a while, it's because I'm taking a nap. Um, so Chris, literally, my sleep hygiene begins when I wake up, and I wake up around the same time every day because I want to train myself to go to bed and sleep and wake up no matter what. No matter if I want to sleep in, um, I'm up at the same time. You want to get sunlight. I can't do this because I wake up so early. But if you can get direct sunlight to your eyes within the first hour of being awake, it'll have a profound effect on your sleep because it will start producing cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, which are the stressor hormones to help you get up and go, chase down the woolly mammoths and avoid the saber-toothed tigers. Um, it's an instinctual, primordial response to the sunlight. The amazing thing is those same hormones will begin to die off during the course of the day. And as they die off, your body uses that raw material left over to produce melatonin and serotonin, which are the very hormones we need to help us sleep, rest, and digest later. That's also the reason why we do breath of fire first thing in the morning,
Mm,
because we're producing those wake up hormones to help us get going. And again, it helps the digestive system. Digestion is extremely important for sleep. You want to wait at least an hour after your last meal before you eat because it takes so much energy to digest. And you don't want to be producing energy when you want to be reducing energy so you can get to sleep. And breath work before bed is vital. You want to lengthen the exhalation, uh, focus primarily on nasal breathing. Um, the 4-8 or the 4-7-8 or the 4-8 and breathing through the left side are great sleep hygiene practices. So that's part of mine. Amazing doing so much through the course of the day just so you can get to sleep at night. But for those who have suffered any kind of insomnia and anxiety and panic attacks late at night, um, it's invaluable. I was
yeah.
so extremely miserable uh, when I was going through that anxiety and panic attacks and trying to be extremely quiet in my panic because my dad was in a room farther. And my dad was so sensitive to anything that was going on with me that even using a walker, he would have gotten out of bed and
Mhm.
checked, "Are you okay?" Um, so um, yeah, I would lay down and go to sleep, and it was like lightning going down through the course of my spine, and everything was on fire. And I would leap out of bed, um, and then I would start panicking that I wake up my dad, um,
Mm.
and I would get really hushed, but everything was sort of pressing down on me. So I did everything I could. Every yogic text on sleep. I took courses on sleep hygiene, um, and it worked. Fortunately, Chris says, "Thank you. You're welcome, Chris." Danny says, "Yogi, if I did something to someone in the chat, I'm sorry. And if I have enemies, I love you and I forgive them." Danny has a heart of gold, doesn't he?
Yes.
I can't imagine you ever doing
Yeah.
anyone to anyone. But let me say, Danny, that I love you too, and never ever have to worry about needing any forgiveness from me. You are instantly forgiven for anything you even think that you might have done. Um, Percolated Fish says, like both of your answers. Thank you. I think Wayne Dyer said there is a spiritual reason for every illness. We could say there's a karmic repercussion um, that we are, or illness is the end result. Everything has, you know, everything has a beginning somewhere. And we could say every beginning uh, is with a thought. Every beginning of anything physical begins with a thought. What's a quantum healing perspective on that? The manifestation of illness from wherever.
Just that it's a message, and your body is a communication device, and the symptoms of your body are trying to tell you something. Does that answer what you were asking, Yogi?
It does.
You just leave my girlfriend alone, Skits.
Talking about little Debbie staring behind you. I didn't want to say anything, but and I hope you don't take this wrong, Kat, because you can't really see it. Little Debbie's flirting with me.
How dare you? We'll talk about this afterwards.
She gave me the nod. She was like,
Yeah.
"What's up?"
She'd like that.
Hey, Kong. Shirley says, "Oh, could you start over?" I just got here. Kat, you mind starting? You mind starting over? Kat, take it from the beginning, please.
From the beginning. Mm,
I could take it from the beginning.
go ahead.
Meditate or pray and forgive and be kind and don't get sick and sleep well. Um, it really does. I think for both of us that we've simplified our paths. Forgive, be kind, and we'll mess up. You've mentioned before, specifically at work, you found yourself engaged.
Yes.
And what'd you do?
What I do?
What did you do the last time this happened? Um, and you were there. You were. I mean, obviously you were there, but I mean, you were like you weren't um, walking 3 feet above the floor with a halo around your head. Um, but what did you do? If you don't mind me asking.
I cried. I acted out, and then I was extremely disappointed in myself, and, yeah, so then I cried, and then it took a little while for me to realize that that is not me. That is not who I really am. That is the ego acting out because somebody did something to me that, how dare they? So, yeah, I acted out without thinking, and I really embarrassed myself and was not nice. I wasn't nice. So it, like I said, it did take me a while to, and the course has taught me that, that is not me. That is not truly who I am.
Right. The reason I apologize, by the way, I didn't mean to put you on the spot,
No, I
but
admit I'm a jerk sometimes.
well, you and I both know you're not. But that doesn't
Right.
mean that we don't sometimes act like jerks. To me, that was the important thing. Wasn't everything that you did. It was where you ended up and the realization that you had um, to get there. This
And phew,
is
I'm glad that's over with.
right.
Hope I never do that again.
But that's practicing the course,
Yeah.
messing up, choosing the wrong teacher, and then remembering I can choose peace instead of this. And man, it's nice, or it would be nice if we did that instantly, but
Yeah.
sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes I don't. Um, and like you, I've gotten better and I've gotten quicker, but there's still moments, and there's still moments where I have the um, why and how could this happen to me? How could this happen to me? I'm an advanced student of the Course in Miracles, and not only that, I'm a freaking yogi. Uh, everything should be perfect right now.
Right.
But speaking of crying, everyone here probably has seen me cry online. Uh, Embarrassing, but it happens. Uh, Now I find myself crying, but in different reasons.
Mm,
Uh, but I just don't want people to think that practicing the Course in Miracles means that you're removed from life
no.
in any way. It's a valuable tool to navigate life. What do you think would have happened had you not been practicing the course? Okay.
I probably would have continued on in that that mode of the ego mode. I would have continued that anger, how dare you, at everybody. I would have tried to push it off on everybody and blame everybody and everything and circumstances instead of looking at what's going on inside of me.
Um, and probably a lot of blame.
Yeah.
And then ultimately blaming ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, but we don't have to do that anymore. We still do.
Yeah.
We just don't have to do it. We just don't have to do it anymore. Um, and I feel very fortunate that um, I do have. I don't even, Kat, I don't even need you to like remind me as a teacher. And that's the role of a good teacher is um, knowing there's someone like you that I could turn to, or I can use an example, or I know that if I said, Kat, someone cut me off in traffic today, and I flipped them off, and I acted like a complete idiot, that you would turn to me and say, "Can you forgive yourself? Can you let it go? That it's okay." Chose the wrong teacher.
Yeah.
So the great thing about having a teacher, the great thing of having what the course calls a holy relationship, is the continuous choosing of forgiveness, the continuous choosing of peace instead of this. And you can have a holy relationship with anyone. You can have one with your boss. That was something very early on you had wanted to talk about, if you remember, special relationships
Mm,
versus holy relationships.
yeah.
Chris says, I notice usually when I feel the pain of hurt and cry, it breaks me down to what I am really sad about. And it can sometimes, it can be something of the past. I agree with that. I love the one description of a course that, or forgiveness. Hey, Big Al. Uh, forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. You will never have a better past. And when we quit trying, forgiveness comes pretty easily and naturally.
And if it's not coming naturally and easily, then ask the Holy Spirit for help because they're your best friend in your back pocket.
Yes,
You forgot all
exactly.
about them.
Um, and that's so important as well. We don't forgive. It's not my job. It's not my job to forgive. My job is to just consistently choose the Holy Spirit and ask for help. I can't do this. This is too big. Um, this person, this event, this situation, past, present, or future, um, I just can't let it go. So I say, and I actually did that very, very recently, that I need to turn this over. And the Holy Spirit says, "What, again?" I said, "Yes, again." And the Holy Spirit said, "Well, that's okay."
Mhm.
Uh, Adam says, "The Course made me seek balance and free myself from judgment as quit resentment as fast as I can, so I can flow freely with love, groovy vibes." Got to say, I don't know if I know anyone who has groovier vibes than Adam. He certainly does. Let's see. Big Al says, "Hi, Yogi and Kat, my
Hi, Big Al.
tomato."
And Adam,
Pretty
why
sure.
not? Adam wants to know if he can ask the Holy Spirit to help him with his neck and finally go to sleep.
I like your answer. Why not? Um, if you let me bring it back to the principles of miracles. Um, a miracle is simply a shift of perception. Shift of perception. Can I see this differently? Can I perceive this differently than I am right now? And that's why we ask the Holy Spirit, can I see things differently? Um, and what I read this morning for a little short that I did, number 3, miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. So just keep choosing love. Can you love yourself through the pain? Can you love yourself through the injury? Can you love yourself through whatever it is that is occurring? And by that, you gain a different perspective. The one that I particularly wanted to read, number 6, miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. And if something has gone wrong, only one thing can go wrong in a miracle. We're asking the wrong teacher. We're making our demands that I need to feel this way, instead of asking the Holy Spirit of, can I see this? Can I experience this? Can I have this in a different perspective? We're demanding from the ego, um, I want this the way I want this. And of course, that leads to even more suffering. Um, Ken Keyes, an author back in the 70s and 80s, you used to hear him talk all the time on public radio. I had some tapes from him, and he was such an open and loving and forgiving person, always joyful every time I heard him. And then I saw him on public television, and he was paralyzed from the neck down, polio. Um, and you just, when you listen to him, it would never occur that he was just not someone who was living a perfectly um, healthy, uh, vibrant life. And he summarized Buddhism as an elevating our demands to preferences. We go through life demanding faster lines, easier traffic, all green lights, more understanding coworkers, more understanding bosses, more understanding friends, demand, demand, demand. And of course, we suffer because the world isn't meant to give in to our demands. But imagine if we just elevate them to preferences. I would certainly prefer green lights. I would certainly prefer a boss that would say, you know what, you look a little sleepy. How about if I build a nap area somewhere just just for you? Um, that's a preference. I would prefer it, but if I don't get my preference, I'm okay with that. Um, and I think the course gives us the same uh, perspective that our demands are part of we're demanding the illusion to be real. And if we have, if we could elevate that to a preference, it's just a little easier to coast through. Sorry.
Why are you sorry? Don't be
um,
sorry.
I'm a little sorry.
Hmm.
Big Al says, I have mates who are guardsmen. Oh, yeah, Jace was a guardsman. Oh, Adam says, I did ask the Holy Spirit to help me mourning my dog and my freaking neck, and I'm starting to feel much better now. What I found with mourning and asking the Holy Spirit is a sense of being held through the mourning process. Adam says, Ram Dass blows my mind. I just read a quote from Ram Dass this morning that we should see everyone that we encounter as God in drag. Colin, thank you so much. Getting some jewels sent. I so much appreciate that.
Nice.
So, Kat, what do you think about doing meditation,
Sure.
forgiveness meditation?
Let's do it.
All right, and anyone else, if they would like to join in, this is just a short little forgiveness meditation that we're going to do. And Kat, if you would close your eyes and notice your breath, and then relax the breath. Notice when you're breathing in, and on your out breath, relax. An inward sigh, letting everything go. As you breathe in, picture, visualize light streaming down through the top of your head, the crown chakra, filling your body. You're breathing in this light. And as you exhale, you are extending the light. Who you truly are is an extension of that light. So you are extending yourself. Breathing in light, extending light. Picture in your mind's eye a person, situation. Could be you. Could be you in present or in the past. And just have the intent to enter the thought of extending the light of forgiveness to this person. No effort. And that person is perfectly entitled to not accept that light. to just enter a little willingness that they might. That right now they're ready for forgiveness, and that you are ready to offer that forgiveness. A little willingness. And that little willingness manifests as light. And you are extending that light. And in your mind's eye, see that light accepted. And you're both residing in that light, relaxed, forgiven, and knowing anytime this thought, anytime this person, anytime this event resurfaces, they're surrounded by that light forever. It's already done. Allow that light to come back to its source, knowing again that it's ever present, coming back to the breath. And we're going to let everything go. We're going to breathe in through the nose, nice and deep as you can, about 80%. And then we're going to slip in air through the nose again and release with a big sigh. Breathing in, sip, sigh through the mouth. Everything's surrendered. Breathing in through the nose, sip. One more breath. Breathing in, sip, and sigh. Release, relaxed. Nothing but love. And when you're ready, Kat, open your eyes.
Thank
I
you.
love you, Kat.
I love you too.
So unless anyone, Kat says, or Chris is awesome. Unless anyone has some questions, wrap things up for the night. What do you think?
It looks pretty quiet to me.
It does.
Yeah.
Chris says that was great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, thank you.
I love doing forgiveness meditations, but also know forgiveness can come just as easily by asking, Kat said, asking the Holy Spirit, help me. I can't do this. Help me. It's as simple as that saying, help me, to the right teacher. And forgiving yourself when you choose the wrong teacher, because you will. For probably, I will probably choose the wrong teacher. Well, I don't want to put a timeline. I will, for as long as I do. And I'll be very happy when I don't. But here's the thing that I've noticed, that, hey, Buddha, I'm very happy when I do remember the right teacher, even if it's longer than I would like it to be. I'm very happy that I know there's a right teacher. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
And I think if that's what you get from the course, if that's the entirety that you get from the course, that could be enough for right now. Abigail says, I love to sing, and you sang so beautifully.
Yeah, she did.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much, Abigail. So, Kat, I know this is your Sunday.
Yes.
I hope you have a good night's sleep.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. And I hope you have a really good day at work.
It will be.
Did you have a good 3 days off?
Yes, really good.
Yeah, you were out in the water.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
Mhm.
Baby alligator and everything.
Yeah.
You had a floating peanut butter and banana picnic.
Yes.
I hope you guys check out the new short the cat put out because it's absolutely awesome. And if you want to learn more about the Course in Miracles, you don't have to go too much further than watching the shorts that Kat has made, as well as her posting daily from the book. Thank you for what you're doing, Kat.
Thank you for leading the way.
I think we're walking side by side,
Okay.
and I appreciate that.
Let's link arms and just skip.
Right, I could do that. Um, I'm a pretty good skipper.
Good, good.
I'll almost say I don't want to brag, but thought about going pro at one time. One of my talents that I have. Hey, Marlon.
Hi, Marlon. So, ready for me to leave?
Yep.
Goodbye. See you later.
Goodbye, Kat.
I love
See
you.
you. I love you too. Thank you so much. You guys see the monkey? Guys, thank you so much. Chris says bye, Kat and Jack. And it's going to be bye for me too, guys. In just a minute, I just want to say goodbye. Man, 3 live streams. And today, as usual, but all 3 of them presented so much magic, so much love. Different ways, but man, I feel blessed. And I feel blessed because you guys joined me and you guys made it happen. So thank you. Hey, Debs. I'm glad you caught us too. Thank you so much, Debs. Keep growing. Blessings to all. Blessings to you. All right. Yep, Abigail, I hope you come back up sometime. Thank you, Eric Lapointe. I appreciate that. I hope Eric Lapointe is hard at work on song number 3 coming up. I'm looking forward to pretty soon. I guess Eric's going to be taking request. Adam says, Kat, thanks, much wise one. Agreed. So again, spend time over at Kat's channel. You will like what you find. I return to it often because I find her combining the tarot card, pulling a card, and combining it with the lesson from a course. Absolute genius. Eric says, LP, your lurker. Hey, you want to know something? I find great comfort in knowing that Eric Lapointe and Squirrel Sniper there's a good chance that they are lurking. Always nice. Let's see. Deb says Eric sings. He does sing. He does sing. Hey, Adam. You've been in my prayers, my friend. Been thinking quite a bit about you. Abigail says, I did today. You did. Debs, it was beautiful. Hey, yeah, Shirley's right about that. Deb's not just a singer, a performer. Marlon says, how did Kat look even more stunning tonight? I think that's one of her many talents, is an ever-growing sense of stunningness. Every time I see her, she raises that stunning bar. Hey, Billy Bob. Abigail says, hi, Kumar. Hello, my friend. Shirley, Deb says, Shirley, the whole package. Kamari, my friend, thanks for coming in. So I said that I'm pretty sure the Eric Lapointe will very soon be taking requests. So make sure you drop it in now. Well, he's still not quite as famous as he's going to be. Get your request in now. Deb says, Eric, you dead sexy man. Hey, Anna Marie. Hey, Miss Yogi, and incredible people in the chat. Just stopping by to hit the like. And hi, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Is doing wonderfully. We are. Thank you. Hey, that's a great song, Abigail. Country Road. What do you say, Eric LaPointe? Country Road. Hey, I almost sang that the other night. Abigail says, I will sing Shania Twain. I'd like to hear Eric LaPointe sing Shania Twain too. All right. I'm going to go to bed. Flip Up says, Eric LaPointe sing. I would stay up for an extra 5 minutes if Eric wants to come up and sing a song. Adam says, I forgot to mention, I wish people would check out my video on a bee sting treatment. Gotcha. Hey, I think everyone should check out Adam's channel, period. Eric says, I'm not prepared. You know, I got to prepare. This is true. This is why Eric LaPointe is the Batman of the singing world. Batman can beat anyone given enough prep time, but he needs that prep time. Eric LaPointe can outperform anyone, but he needs prep time. Abigail said, got this. She wants a dance battle. Shirley says, sweet dreams, Yogi. Abigail says, I'm a princess. You certainly are. All right, guys, going to bed. I love you guys. Thank you so much. A big thanks to Kat. Sorry. Just, you know, I find myself happy with the right people. Have a great evening, all. Thank you. Bye, guys.